As we were going to break, Morgan, you were filling us in on this situation in Philadelphia, which happened a week ago, and it happened overnight with the standoff.
Yeah.
And I remember coming to work in the morning and reading about it and going, oh my gosh, these officers, 6 of them were shot.
I know. It's unbelievable. Well, this guy, Maurice Hill, and I mean, this tells you a little bit about the gun control debate as well, folks, because, this guy had a lengthy criminal record. He'd been arrested at least a dozen times. He'd served time in federal prison. In fact, as I mentioned before, he'd served like 4.5 years in 2008 for firearms violations. So possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. And he had a Smith & Wesson .357 and also a .45 caliber pistol, 2 pistols. So, this is where we talk about, gosh, we need some more gun control laws, and we need background checks, and we need red flag laws, and we need laws, more laws. And don't you get the fact that criminals don't obey laws? They break laws. And we got so many guns in this country, you're never going to be able to collect them all. I mean, that would be a lifetime-long process of trying to just collect them all. The criminals are never going to turn them in. They don't obey laws. So criminals are always going to have access to firearms. And do you want a guy like this, who's obviously got some serious mental issues? You want a guy like this getting a firearm in your community and then nobody else has a firearm? That's the key, because you're never going to stop a guy like this from getting a firearm. You could see that from his background. He should have been stopped at every point, and he wasn't. He was still able to get them. So now, do you want him to be the only one in the community that has them? Or do you want there to be some good guys, too, hopefully? Maybe some good guys like Schreiner, who've got a concealed carry, who can maybe step up to the plate and try and do something, or the Sarge or me or whoever who might have a concealed carry. I mean, to my way of thinking, you want as many good guys in the community to have firearms when something like this occurs so that they could try to do something about it. But he shot 6 police officers. But, again, what I want to point folks to, if they can locate the video, and I'll try and get out there on Twitter and retweet it, but if they can locate the video of the officers kind of like walking through the community and people screaming at him, people throwing full water bottles at him. I saw a lady shove a police officer, and it's obviously something this police officer was used to, because he didn't turn around and get up in her face, or he didn't do anything about it. He just kind of shrugged it off. And I thought, wow, what an embarrassment that community is. I mean, the way that they're treating their law enforcement officers. I mean, do they want law enforcement just to fence off the community and say we don't police in that community? Is that what people there want? I can't imagine the good. And, there's a lot of good law-abiding people that you don't see in the streets who live in these communities. They don't really have necessarily another option. And I can't believe that they don't want some kind of order, some kind of policing, some kind of safety in their own community. But all we see is the violent mobs who seem to be trying to throw the cops out. It
really is community specific across the country. In certain areas, it's like that. In certain areas, it's not. I could be naive about things, but I feel like for the most part in our Tampa Bay community, because I've done enough stories with different people of law enforcement about the programs they have going into certain communities and having sort of outreach, so there are good relationships with officers. Mm-hmm. And it does seem, you can go different places across the country and you'll have a different experience.
Right. Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard. And if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.